Well, the Category B prison has been put on lockdown following the escape. Wandsworth is, of course, one of the largest prisons in the UK with around 1,500 inmates. It's extraordinary, this story, isn't it? It's one of those stories that you just know is going to capture the imagination. Everybody's going to obviously be concerned for multiple reasons. Be concerned that perhaps he is a danger, although the police have said don't approach him, but we don't think he is necessarily a danger to the public. But also, what does it tell us about our prison system?
Exactly.
I mean, we don't have a lot of people managing to escape from prison. But we all know, I mean, I was talking about it on TalkTV last night. The prisons are at absolute capacity, so much so that a lot of prisoners are being kept in Operation Safeguard in police cells rather than in prisons. Prison officers have been leaving their jobs in droves, and there are tens of thousands of vacancies for prison officers. And I'm sure those things are all connected.
Wandsworth Prison, I've got a lot of facts on this, was built in 1851. It is hated by criminals. It is a Victorian hellhole. It's also a Category B prison. Someone like Khalife should be in a Category A prison because he's facing terrorist charges. What he's accused of is planting 3 fake bombs at a Ministry of Defence unit in Stafford. So he should have been in a Category A prison, so there's questions to ask there. And what people are worried about, there's 2 things they're worried about, this guy, is one, he was in the army, he's got military experience, so he knows how to operate in this kind of circumstance. And the other is, you know, he's of Middle Eastern extraction, terrorist charges, and so the fear is this might have been an organised escape working with other associates. So this search could be fairly straightforward if he's working alone, but if he's working with other terrorists, or he says he's not a terrorist, but if he has been protected by a terrorist organisation, it might be difficult to find him, and that's why they're not closing down the airports, but racking up security at airports, stations and ports in case he flees the country. So it's an incredible story because it's like a movie, you know, that he attached himself to the underside of the van and went out of the Wandsworth prison gates. But there will be serious questions to ask about Wandsworth
it's very
prison.
embarrassing.
And serious questions to ask about why he was in this prison. Now, Wandsworth isn't easy to escape from. Famous escapees include, look at all the facts I've got. Ronnie Biggs, the great trains robber, went over the wall in 1965. And in 1966, something I didn't know about, the Cray twins tunnelled under the wall and got out. So, but the number of people, despite it only being Category B, it's a difficult prison to escape from. Massive Victorian edifice, huge walls. So there'll be questions about why he was in this prison and questions about prison security.
You saying about him being a soldier, so he's trained to survive, trained to evade. He'll be thinking completely differently to the average person who breaks out of prison. And that is a danger. Also, looking at his picture, to me, he looks nondescript. If I saw him in the street, I wouldn't think, oh, that's the guy. So I feel like the hardest part for him was getting out of prison, right? And now he, as you say, Kevin, if he has got a network of people helping him, we can't find people coming across on small dinghies.
He's 6'2",
How are we going to find somebody to get him proper help?
He's a big guy.
But
he might be a big guy, but then on the
understand-
other hand, what about, first of all, if you've had military training, then you know that you're not going to look like your mugshot, number one. And I think you're absolutely right. Of course, we've got to look at questions as to how on earth he got out. Of course, we've got to look at questions as to safety and security and what the potential risks are. And also, when they say, you know, look out for him or whatever it is, I think sometimes the public need a little bit, you know, more guidance or better guidance as to, well, what do you do, who do you call, and what action should you take?
Hang on a second. The police have been very clear about this. They said if you see him,
do not
approach him.
Yes.
Dial 999. What other instructions do you need?
Well, I suppose so. But then, on the other hand, I think we've got very little experience in this country of perhaps tracking people down. And the police don't necessarily have the greatest reputation for catching the criminals when they're out there. But I think this is very concerning. But as you say, at some point, this is the stuff of movies.
I mean, I just don't understand how in 2023 you can just break out of prison like that. And like you said, Kevin, it's something out of a film, and it probably will be made into a film, and I would definitely watch that. But I mean, you know, the idea that he's clinging to the underside of the truck, and also they seem to have a lot of detail about the escape already, and I wonder how they've got that detail. Was it CCTV, or how have they managed to ascertain that that's what he did? I'm very interested in that
The Sun newspaper
as well.
got all the details.
How have they got all the
clearly
details
got the
already?
inside story.
Yeah.
It was incredibly
they do.
detailed.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm
definitely,
amazed.
and I'm interested in that as
look,
well.
we've got the technology. I'm amazed people aren't tracked in
I
some
was
shape or form.
just thinking exactly the same.
But there we go, lessons to be learned.